It's like when Mike's scope here on my gun, for some reason the reticle looks crooked as hell.
Yeah, probably because everybody cuts their rails a little bit different. It may not be as mil-spec, I would imagine. I've seen that before on mine. So is that going to affect Travis?
Standard Picatinny is not necessarily standard.
Standard, yeah.
So,
well, I know there's different controversies there as well. I mean, what should be level?
You know, really, you want your level or your reticle level with the world every shot. That's the most important thing. It can be slightly canted. You know, usually if you're a right-hand shooter, it's more acceptable if your cant is top right. All right, and a lot of big-time shooters in competition actually cant their weapon system.
Really?
If you think about it, the ergonomics of your pocket is more in a cant position anyway. All right, so a lot of the guys actually cant their guns that way, and then they put levels on their scopes or on their barrels, something like that. So it's very acceptable. The main deal is you have to make your reticle level with the world for every shot. So for this first run, all right, what I want you to do is, no matter what your level, because we're not going to actually slip that right now, it's just like, hey, you had a scope on a different gun, you was out hunting, your primary gun went down, you want to use that weapon system, you've got another scope, you slapped it on it, and we're fixing to get a good, quick field hasty zero. Shoot out to distance, and you're going to see that you're hitting all the targets. But it's a good question because a lot of people buy a lot of expensive equipment to make sure their gun is level with their reticle.
So then the most important thing to remember with that, since people are really religious about leveling their scopes to their gun, doesn't matter because it's actually leveling the scope to the world. That's what really matters. So there's really no point in being anal retentive with being really level, right?
Absolutely. Not if it's just slightly off. You know, I wouldn't want it to be extremely canted, obviously.
But you could, I can get on here and eyeball it pretty good. It's going to be fun.
You can get on there and eyeball it. Usually what I do for field quick, hasty level, I'll actually push the weapon system away from me until I see the reticle lining up with the Picatinny. And I just want to make it offset 90 degrees to where it kind of creates a little T at the bottom. There isn't any angle in that. So you can take it and just loosen it, adjust it to where your steady lines runs right down in the middle of your Picatinny rail. At that point, tighten everything up, get down behind the gun, make sure you check it to see if it's good and close, and then from that point, rock and roll with it. The main deal is make sure your reticle is level with the world. There isn't anything that you have to have exact. There's nothing wrong with it being exact. If you want to take the time and make sure it's all perfect, that's fine. But it's not going to affect your accuracy.
But people don't need to go, oh my God, it's just something's going to be wrong. I mean, because it goes against every book and everything that I've ever read or been taught was, hey, you got to make sure your scope's level with the gun. Which what we're saying here goes against everything out there, every manual, military manual, it says level your scope to the gun. But you don't need to if you can eyeball it on there and it's good to go.
Yeah, and a lot of it is the way the guys actually lay down behind the gun. They're going to make sure that gun's in the same position, and it's going to start canting their reticle against the world. Our deal is we focus on the reticle. We don't focus on if the gun's here or slightly here. All right, if you think about it, this is even more ergonomic than this. All right, so having my hand slightly kicked out, a lot of the big-time competition shooters in palma shooting and that kind of stuff shoot with it that way. So I think we're getting out of some of the myths, about what's important and what's not important. And that's what we try to work around and really just use a common sense approach to everything that we do. All right, everybody.